In this wrongful death and sexual harassment action, plaintiff appeals as of the right from a March 1st, 1990 order in the Ingram Circuit Court. Josephine McCallum, age 27, wife of William C. McCallum and mother of Michael McCallum, age 9, began her career as a correctional officer for the Department of Corrections in October 1986. She completed her on-the-job training in January 1987, graduated from the Correctional Officers Academy on February 7th, 1987, and was first assigned to duty on the 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. shift at the State Prison of Southern Michigan Central Complex. The assignment required her to begin each day working in the cafeteria dining room under the supervision of Sergeant John Rakowski. About 1 week before her death on March 21st, 1987, McCallum complained to several of her academy classmates that she was having problems with Rakowski. She told Brenda Wilson and Rakowski wanted to go out with her socially after work, that he had the hots for her, that she did not like it, and that it became more irritating as time went on. She asked academy classmates Wilson and Steve Horn to join her whenever they saw Rakowski engaging her in conversation. She explained that Rakowski did not want other people around when he was talking to her. Steve Horn explained that McCallum asked him to intervene because Rakowski was BSing her about all the power he had and how he could help her out or could keep people from going anywhere in the department. Horn stated that he did not recall that McCallum ever said anything about Rakowski asking to go to bed with her, but according to Horn, you would have to be a blind man not to see that what he was getting at. McCallum complained to classmate Linda Grandeville about the rotten dining room assignments Rakowski gave her and that Rakowski kept asking her for a date or a drink after work, but nothing else of sexual nature was mentioned. At breakfast on March 23, 1987, McCallum complained to Officer Pamela Williams Jacobson that a particular sergeant was coming on to her real strong, kept asking her for dates, and was giving her bad assignments. The evening, McCallum told her husband that Rakowski was continually harassing her and wanted to go to bed with her, and that if she did not give it in to him, she would be on her own. In the dining room on the morning of March 24th, 1987, McCallum told Brenda Wilson she was not going to take any more of Rakowski's and was going to report him even if it meant she might lose her job. Then Captain Douglas Mamertry changed McCallum's work assignment from 6 block to JCC gate post because the officer assigned to the gate post that morning had called in sick. Rakowski and McMurtry were social friends who often attended after work parties together. Shift assignments were routinely prepared a week in advance, but changes such as occur on March 24th were not unusual and were made when the assigned person called in sick or an emergency rose. McCallum's movements on the morning of her death were as follows. Upon arriving for work on March 24th, McCallum was first assigned to the dining hall for MA breakfast from 6 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. Upon leaving the dining hall, McCallum proceeded to walk to the JCC gate located adjacent to the commissary dock area. At approximately 6:30 a.m. on March 24th, inmate Edward Clay Hill, serving 18 to 40 years for manslaughter and rape, reported to work at the commissary dock. His supervisor was Robert Folick. Folick observed that Hill appeared to have been drinking, refused to help unload a truck, and even made threatening remarks to him. Nevertheless, Hill was allowed to remain in the commissary dock area. At about 7:20, a second truck arrived at the commissary dock. In the truck was Sabrina Johnson, an on-the-job training officer, and the driver, Charles Eddy, a 16-year veteran with DOC. As Eddy and Johnson unloaded the truck, Hill approached and began asking questions of Johnson, who could smell the odor of liquor on Hill's breath. Folick also noticed that Hill appeared to be pressing his body close to Johnson as she appeared to be trying to stay away from him. At approximately 7:40 a.m., Johnson got back into the passenger side of the truck while the door was still open. Hill ran his fingers alongside Johnson's thigh and buttocks. Johnson quickly pushed Hill's hand away, closed the door, and the truck drove off. As the truck pulled away, Eddy and Johnson saw McCallum walking by. Through the rearview mirror, Eddy observed McCallum entering the door to the JCC gate, followed by 2 black inmates. Exactly what happened next is not known, either by a forged pass or verbally misrepresenting his identity. Hill persuaded McCallum to allow him to pass through the gate and enter the auditorium with her. There, within the next 15 minutes, McCallum was severely beaten, raped, and strangled. Her body was dragged across the stage and dumped at the bottom of an unlighted stairwell. As a result of her death, McCallum's family will receive workers' compensation death benefits over a 500-week period. Joseph McCallum's violent death triggered a series of departmental and intra-departmental investigations. Among the results of the investigations, a report authored by Joseph A. and John Elkins, based on their investigation of the policies and operating practices of the SPSM Central Complex, conducted between April and June 1987. I was at Marquette level 5 with him. I believe he was in a hall. Just one of the guys that just had like weird conversations, would just say weird stuff. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I remember back in the day when you touched this and they wouldn't do that. You know, I remember back in the like yeah. It's crazy how many of these guys you locked up with, you don't know exactly what they're there for, and you wonder why staff treat them the way they treat them. It's kind of like, oh, okay, I get it. Dog a weirdo. You know what I'm saying? RP to that lady. Peace and blessings be upon y'all. Big 5.